Howdy everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Killer Rodan. And today, as you can see, I'm still continuing my Disney movie marathon by talking about the movies or the theme parks, whatever I guess. But I'm just continuing where we left off. Let's just get to the point. Now, these individuals can't seem to understand that you don't necessarily have to be a part of the woke culture or the feminazis or the social justice warriors. And, and just they were all over the place. They're to make it as if that Disney's doing something bad and the Star Wars franchise as a whole is doing something bad as well because of sexism and racism somehow, which of course is bogus, obviously. And they're trying to bring up the fact that yes, while Disney has made up a lot of remakes, I've already said that I don't like remakes and I never will. I don't want to bring up that too much here, of course, folks, at all, but they will also bring up Toy Story 4, which is odd because Toy Story 4 is not a remake; it's a continuation. They bring up this film because there was a scene, well, at least a supposedly scene where there's two mommies where at some daycare or whatever, and this bothers them. But an issue with this is that it comes off homophobic. Another thing is that there's no context to support the fact that they're two lovers or anything remotely like that. I guess you would say in any shape or form. They're just assuming that is what it's about. But the thing is that they keep trying to beat you with the head. The part I'm about to show you, they're trying to beat you with the head that if you support this kind of a thing, like the social justice warriors, the wall culture, and the feminists, they're like all one and the same when you want to support the LGBT plus community, which is not true. It's not all one the same. Yes, I celebrate in two different groups because that's what they are. But that's basically what they're going to talk about next, right here, folks. And they're acting as if they expect the guy here. They're acting. He's trying to dismiss the fact that it's not about me. Yes, yes, you are making it about you. You're making it as if that is about you. You're just murking things up, acting as if it's not about you, but you're acting like it is. But let's just get into it. That's basically we're gonna start us off right here, of course, with this part of the video. Just this entire thing is just ridiculous as far as I'm concerned, which it is. But all right, enough yabbering. Let's just get into it. I really want to move on already. Just stupid, really dumb. Anyway, let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
That was for her, and I'm glad that she got to feel that.
I don't like the idea of saying that, only this group of people can like these characters, like it should be for everybody, like I don't want to get into the whole Brie Larson thing and what she said or didn't say about white men seeing the movie. I think she was talking about critics, though, not just every white guy. But the thing is even by her saying that, I think it was unnecessary. I feel like you want everyone to see your movie. When I was young, I loved kung fu movies. I kung fu theater was my shit every Saturday, and I watched it religiously. There were no black people in kung fu theater. The Wu-Tang Clan, that shit didn't exist back then. So, but I love kung fu movies, and but the thing is.
Okay, I highly doubt that you do like kung fu movies. Well, at least not nowhere near as much as I would. Oh, which reminds me, folks, for anyone that's listening, I do want to work on some kung fu movies, especially the obscure stuff. So whoever you are, whoever's listening, I want to get back to kung fu movies and reviewing them at some point. I don't know when I'm going to do it, really, but I've reviewed a lot of kung fu movies. I think over 100 videos I did dedicated to kung fu movies already. So I highly doubt that these people had loved the kung fu genres nowhere near as much as I would. Okay, I'm sidetracking here, but I thought I'd let you guys know, whoever's listening. I'm getting back to that eventually, so you know.
If someone were to say, hey, you're black, you shouldn't be watching kung fu movies, it almost doesn't make sense to say something like that. And it definitely doesn't make sense for a studio and their bottom line to have their actors telling people not to come see the movie because of what they are.
You're not against inclusiveness, just not the forced inclusiveness, right?
This is not a simple solution. This is a complex issue. I mean, we want to be inclusive, but the problem is that there's a lot of people who are different. I mean, I would venture to guess that everyone in here considers themselves to be a unique person. And that you're part of the crowd,
which is unique.
Yeah, and I think this idea of okay, we want to hit everybody, and that's where checkboxing comes in. We got to check this, we got to check that, got to check this, and it supersedes the stories we want to tell, because that's ultimately what we want. Is we want a good story, we want a good movie, and those moments in which you force that into this woke idea is when you start de-emphasizing these stories. I'll give you an example. Shang-Chi. I love the fact that Marvel is putting out an Asian movie, but the reality is I read 2 issues of Shang-Chi back in the 70s, and this is not a character that means a whole lot to me, nor our culture.
I remember when they released that Crazy Rich Asian, which is Black Panther for Asian people, and anyway, my friends got mad because I didn't see the opening week. I saw it eventually, but it's like, I don't know, maybe I didn't grow up here, so it's not I don't feel like obligated. Yeah. I want to watch a good movie. If you happen to have Asian people, great. But
at the end of the day, what really matters is a good story. And if you say it doesn't have to have Asian people in it, either way, I don't care. I mean, if it does, that's fine. If you don't, it's fine too. I mean, or if you want to mix it up, I guess. If there's sort of some representation, sure, be my guest. That's fine. But at the end of the day, what we all want is to have a great story. Either way, a good plot, well-written dialogue, and all well-crafted film. And if it doesn't matter to you, then why is this entire thing a thing? Then why is it an issue? You're again contradicting yourself here. I don't get this. It's really confusing. I'm confused.
friends were so angry because just about every one of them saw them that weekend. But it was great. I mean, I liked that. Dr. Ken, Aquafina, I didn't really care for the rest of the movie, but I liked the funny part. But just feeling like you're forced to watch it because, I'm terrible.
It goes to like world cinema. Like I since I grew up watching like a lot of world cinema, it just because my mom was just, she loved that, and I got into it when she would watch stuff. So, and then it was, of course, Godzilla movies and whatever. It's just like if you have a more, I feel like you don't. I feel like you got to like look outside of the United States for other things. You have to diversify your media intake, and then I feel like it's maybe not. That's so.
Parasite. It's a great movie. Nobody forced me to. I just heard it's great, and it is great. Yeah. And but I didn't go see it because they're all Asian cast,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So the thing about Parasite is
fantastic, by the way.
It's a fantastic movie. But the thing is, apart from the language, it might as well have been an American film.
Yes.
I mean, it is everything in it we could relate to. And there's nothing that was like, oh, that's a cultural thing. No, this is a human thing. This is a family
rich
struggling.
and poor, the class system and things like that. This is something that...
Rich or poor, middle class, homeless, lawyers, cops, or whatever. It doesn't matter what your job description is. Doesn't matter how much money you make. We're just all people at the end of the day. Then what's the issue? What's the issue? Then none of that matters. We're just all people at the end of the day being represented in a movie. Then what's the damn issue? Like I said earlier, this is just being used as an excuse to take stabs at the Star Wars franchise as a whole, and Disney because it's a corporation. Because oh no, corporations are bad people, which is a lie.
And it has a really good grifter story behind it as well, which is amazing. I love it. Okay, so so now that we've hit Star Wars and we've hit Marvel, we're going to stay in the Disney family and talk about the Disney movies itself. When they started remaking the animated classics into live action versions, the obvious thought was, oh, Disney's doing it to double its revenue, to say, hey, we're going to retell our story and make more money and sell more merchandise. But what I found interesting were the titles they chose and the ways in which they chose those titles and then changed the stories. For example, in Maleficent, they nixed the entire basically Prince Charming idea. That the prince's kiss would awaken everybody. Or in Alice in Wonderland and Cinderella, they amped her up in terms of making her a strong female character. In Beauty and the Beast, they basically added a diverse background cast and diverse supporting cast, as well as a buried gay subplot. In Dumbo, they removed a beautiful song sung by crows. And in The Lion King, they added basically a battle between Nala and Shenzi, kind of a big cat fight there. And then
It goes into a whole remake thing I mentioned earlier, folks. I want to talk about the remakes. Well, yes, the remake films are terrible. And, okay, like, I don't want to spend too much time on remakes, really, because I've already said my piece. If it's a remake or redone, redid, redo, rebooted, readaptation, whatever you want to call it, it's automatic shit. It's automatic garbage. You can't change my mind. That is true. But what I disagree with is that what he's trying to say is that it's only because the only reason they're remaking it is just because of the fact that it's a different audience now. What to some extent that is true, but maybe to some extent, yes, the audiences are different compared to what the 1920s, 1930s, up until what the 1980s and 1990s. Yes, even in the early 2000s. Yes, the audiences are different between all those timelines, and yes, even in the 2010s and the I guess you can call it 2020s and upward. Well, yes, the audiences are different compared to those times. That is true. What worked back then may not work now. I mean, yes, there are timeless classics like the original Cinderella, the original Beauty and the Beast, the original Alice in Wonderland. Yes, these can be, oh yeah, Sleeping Beauty, Snow White and Seven Dwarfs. Yeah, while these just can be considered as some of the greatest films of all time, which they are, even then, just because it worked back then doesn't mean it will work now. That is true. And Disney knows that. It's nostalgia. They want to work on nostalgia. They make money off of nostalgia. That is it. At the end of the day, they just want to make money off of nostalgia. That is it.
Did anyone notice the two mommies in Toy Story 4? Anyone?
Yeah.
Was it just me?
Is it?
All right. So,
Well, there's also the thing with Aladdin where
yes.
Jasmine basically didn't really need Aladdin at all. And
See, I mean, I'll talk about Aladdin real quick. The song "Speechless," I love that song. It's an amazing song, but it just really felt, in terms of stylistically, set up against all the other songs within Aladdin, it just felt out of place, stylistically speaking. But as story-wise, I thought it was important. So here's the question I have: by doing these remakes, by making them more woke, what does that say about the original classics? And is it time now that we cancel Walt Disney?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, gotcha on that one.
Yeah, I'm. Boy, that's yeah.
But isn't that the history of Disney? They changed over the years. Because I remember I don't remember because I wasn't around, but during World War II, they had some mini anti-Japanese animated thing. I love Disney, but I don't begrudge them. It was a terrible time, and at the time they thought they were doing the right thing. So, but they changed. Right. So maybe during transition of changing something different, hopefully for better.
I mean, you bring up the idea of evolution of storytelling, that Disney was telling stories of his time, and the Walt Disney Company is still telling stories of our time.
Even to say like cancel Walt Disney, it's something that is an unfortunate kind of result of this woke culture, is that then we cancel people and there's no opportunity for.
Again, you don't have to be a part of the woke culture, the social justice warriors, or the feminazis to help the LGBT plus community. What are you talking about? Yes, you can separate those things. It is possible. I don't like the woke culture. I don't like the social justice warriors. I don't like the feminazis. When it comes to canceling people, for the most part, I don't like the canceling people, but I'll make that one exception if said individual deserves to be canceled. Otherwise, yeah, I'm against it. Just, well, what are these people even talking about? They're so full of shit. All of them.
Adjustment for learning, for growth. And I think that we should, as people, allow that not only as we interact with others, but even for companies like Disney and changing, and they have changed. And so we don't necessarily cancel them, but we hope that there will be more positive messages out there. As long as the stories are good, because that's the thing, like, then we don't want to err on the side of pandering. The stories still need to be nuanced and strong, but not pandering.
My
I have an issue with changing the original stories. I mean, the stories are what they were, and if they want to tell new stories, create new material. Why change Ariel into a black girl?
Again, with the whole race thing, why are white people being brought up here? It has nothing to do with white people at all. It has nothing to do with Mexicans. It has nothing to do with Chinese. It has nothing to do with Japanese. It has nothing to do with anybody from any race. The only people that's bringing up race here are you guys. No one else. No one else. No one else. No one else. Literally no one else. I need context for the story. What's the context of the story here? I don't get it. And technically speaking, Ariel is Dutch. She's Dutch. She's not white. Just because she's light-skinned does not mean she's Caucasian. And besides, at the end of the day, who gives a shit? I don't. I don't care. Okay, what's the point anyway? I mean, don't race swap. Race swap is stupid anyway. But okay, and what? I mean, if you want to make a part of a culture, the Dutch culture, and yes, white people have their own culture too. Unless you want to do like something super specific like that, to talk about whole culture or something. Then other than that, I don't know what would be the point. Are you want to talk about interracial dating and how interracial marriages and interracial dating and interracial relationships are still viewed upon as bad even today? Okay, it's not as a hot topic as it was back then. Then okay, you might have a point. Then whoop-de-doo.
She wasn't a white girl in the cartoon. There's really no reason to change to the race. Same thing with, I mean, as far as the genie, I don't care. He's a genie. He could be black, Asian, Latino. Who cares? He's a genie.
And
but
there's a difference between changing a character that was voiced by a white person.
And yes, race swapping is bad. I don't like race swapping because that seems like a cop out. I never care for race swapping whatsoever. Like I said, it just seems lazy writing if someone wants to do that. And this is a topic I've already spoken about. I don't want to come off too repetitive here. So I don't want to mention it too much because, like I said, I've already spoken about this, really. I guess a good example is what I'm talking about here is that the God-awful Godzilla film that came out in '98, the original cast of these films were mostly all Asian. And then just replaced them by somebody else? And that's just stupid. Race swap is never warranted. And if you want to start diversity, go ahead. But you don't want to revamp the character in order to do so. That just seems lazy. I mean, if you want to do like one of those hypothetical what-if scenarios that Star Wars has been doing in this not really canon to the main series, but you can do something like that, I guess, if you want. But even then, it can be pretty tricky when you think about it.
Into what they were supposed to be, or something completely different, and then changing a main character just to say, ta-da, look at us.
yeah, and number one, I think it's lazy. Number two, I think it's pandering. And obviously Disney's doing it because it's a proven product, and now they're trying to introduce it to a new market.
It creates controversy, and controversy creates cash.
Yes.
But can I just say real quick, but can you imagine if Luke Skywalker had canceled Darth Vader rather than turning him to the good side?
Yeah, exactly.
And I feel like that's the whole point when I am vehemently against cancel culture. I do not like that at all. I don't think it gets the result you're looking for, which is just to sort of change hearts and minds. You don't change hearts and minds by making people wrong.
Yeah.
You don't do that. So that's what I feel like the goal should be like in Return of the Jedi. He redeemed his father, who was basically a serial killer Nazi like Hitler. But he got him to the good side at the very end. So, but yeah, that's where I stand.
My issue with Disney is they have a history. We all know the history. It's obvious, but they ignore that history. They literally have a vault that they just throw their old mistakes and their old problematic content.
No. Disney was accused of being anti-Semitic. Disney was accused of being racist. Disney was accused of being sexist. This is not they're remaking a movie like Beauty and the Beast or Cinderella. The fact that we make this movie is not throwing their history away. They were just accused of that. Just because they were accused, Disney was accused of it, doesn't mean it's true. The CGI animated film Moana had some controversy because the director was this white dude who wanted to do some research on their culture to make it as accurate as possible, and they got mad at him for that. So if a white person does it, he's racist? Which makes no sense, because isn't that what he wanted them to do anyway? It just seems you can't win. You want them to be educated, and once they educate themselves, you get mad. But then if they're not educated, you get mad. But then then if they do what you want to do to get educated, you still get mad. This is just stupid. But anyway, yes, again, I do think race swapping is bad. I don't care what the raising is. You never ever sexual orientation swap, race swap, or any other. I mean, you can do some hypothetical scenarios like I mentioned before, maybe, I guess. But still, what? Christ, this is just stupid. Really dumb.
And then they're creating new stuff and they're changing things, like the crows in Dumbo are something that they just omitted in the new movie. They aren't referenced, they aren't mentioned. On the PR, like, junket, it wasn't brought up because they're ashamed of it. And they should be, but they should also address it instead of pretending that it didn't happen. It's not in the new movie, so it didn't happen. La, 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 can't see us. Like, that's what Disney does, and it drives me crazy.
All right. Any other thoughts? Okay. So let's make this fun. Do you ever think there will be a gay Disney prince or a trans princess?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's going to happen.
Yeah, it's
Well,
what
under what conditions, though?
I
Giant
don't
press
know. I think-
release.
Yeah, give it 10 years. In under 10 years, that's going to happen. There will be a gay.
Well, they already kind of hinted it with the
Wreck-It Ralph 2?
Wreck-It Ralph 2, and also with Beauty and the Beast, the live action.
Oh, right, yeah.
There were some hints of it there. So
Josh Gad's character.
yeah.
Yeah. So in Wreck-It Ralph 2, they changed her name to Yes, but
that's right.
was she non-binary?
Who's doing what now? What about Wreck-It Ralph 2? What characters are doing what exactly? Yeah, okay, this is another obvious complaint I have with this podcast here is that whatever they're talking about is all over the place. I thought we were supposed to be talking about Star Wars. What happened to Star Wars? Let's talk about Star. I mean, it never was about that, but still. I mean, okay, technically, I see what they're doing here. I see exactly right through them. They're just trying to bring a bunch of stuff up that's related to Disney in some kind of way. And even though what they're talking about never happened, like, just so you know, for those who don't know, what they're referring to in these movies never happened, like, at all. But my point being is that they're just trying to cover up their own ass, because they're trying to make it seem what they're doing isn't so bad. That's basically what it is. It's a form of manipulation when you think about it. Because at the end of the day, they're just trash talking Disney. That's it. That's literally all this is. Just trying to trash talk Disney in some form or fashion. And of course, the Star Wars franchise as a whole, trying to talk down about Star Wars, again, in one way or another, just so it won't look so bad. That's it, really. You get down to it. At its core, that's what they're doing, but then trying to sugarcoat it to some extent, in some fashion.
I don't know.
Well, if,
So then I want to say she.
if she's in the computer world, she has to be binary.
Coming soon to Disney Plus. It'll be on Disney Plus or something like that, right?
Yeah.
That's to test the waters that way. But I think in 10 years, for sure, that's going to happen, maybe less.
It's not a Disney, but I'm sure most of you probably watch Big Mouth on the show on Netflix. And I think a lot of the kids are really comfortable with transgender people and gay people. So I think Disney's probably well aware that they're going to watch it because the younger generation are comfortable with it. So I think it's believable that'll happen. I think that'll happen before we have a female president. But
Oh, Jesus.
Okay. Yeah.
Ouch.
I think economics has a lot to do with it too. The reality is greed is colorblind in the sense of if we're going to spend money for it, they'll do it, whether they agree with it or not. Black Panther was a great money-making opportunity.
I wouldn't exactly say Black Panther is a great movie. Is it terrible? No. I have some problems with it because there's some story holes I have issues with. But is it a great marketing tool? Yeah, it is. It's a great marketing tool because they want to show Black Panther because Black Panther has been a popular character in Marvel's comics for years. So of course they want to adapt this character into a movie. And their part is a smart move actually.
Yeah, and they took advantage of that, and they made a lot of money off of it.
well, you know what was news for them? I think some of the white executives were shocked that there's actually money made for black characters.
Oh, they were
black bodies.
completely shocked. Like,
But it wasn't shock to me.
okay, here's the thing: Black Panther succeeded on two levels. Number one, and he's a great character, and the characters within that universe are amazing. But two, Marvel's established, and Marvel's already been proven to make money. So it's not far fetched that Black Panther made money. I think most Marvel movies have made a decent amount of money.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a weird, comparison to like say an independent black film.
Just so stupid. Yeah, it's racist. It's racist. 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 And racist. Racist. And racist. Racist. That's all I'm hearing. Oh, racism. 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 That's all I'm hearing. Racist. 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 Of course, it's going to be easier for Disney to get a movie. When it comes to marketing, of course, it's going to be more easier for Disney because, newsflash. Disney is a well-known product. It's a product name at this point. And compared to like you guys were saying, an independent filmmaker who probably has no money like at all, one of those low budget features. Of course, for someone like that, it's not because of the race. It's more because of the fact of marketing. Of course, when it comes to these low budget features, they're not gonna have as much money. On my YouTube channel, I talk about low budget movies all the time. Well, okay, at least most of the time, I talk about low budget features. For the most part, I talk about these kinds of movies all the time. Well, most of the time, anyway. Yes, it's a lot easier for a corporate company to get the name out there, the product, than compared to a somebody who doesn't have that much money, like at all. Like those kung fu movies that we got to mention earlier. Now these kung fu movies are not really well known, like at all. Even to this very day, a lot of the kung fu movies I want to review, and I'm going to review, and I already had reviewed, are not that well known because they're low budget, very very low budget. Just it's not that complicated,
Making money. That has yet to be proven, but anything Marvel related is going to make money. So I don't think that they were that shocked that Black Panther made what it made.
I think by showing success, it means we can have more. I mean, we talk about Crazy Rich Asians.
Yeah.
Oh, Christ Almighty! Crazy Rich Asians is an A-listed movie, not a B movie. Yeah, it's not even a Z movie. A great Z movie and a B movie. Yes, we have a tougher time getting their name out there because it's low budget. Whereas a Crazy Rich Asians is an A-listed movie. Which was done by a corporate company. So of course Crazy Rich Asians, there's a good chance 9 times out of 10 people will see it.
Asian movies make a lot of money, unfortunately, just not in the United States. Crazy Rich Asians was an American production made by Asian Americans, and it'd been 25 years since Joy Luck Club that a film like that succeeded, and in a way, it just says that there is a market out there, and money talks. You know, and it opens the door for opportunities for underrepresented groups to say, you know, times are changing and stories need to be changing and need to be more diverse.
But also,
Again, having diversity isn't inherently bad, but it's not new. Having a bunch of diversity has been done before. I give a truck ton of examples of this in my previous videos. When it comes to this, it's been done quite a few times already. Uh, my argument, again, I'm not trying to come off too repetitive here. My counter argument to their argument is that they have clearly not done the research, like at all. This was never about Star Wars, nor Disney when you think about it. But I guess we're all arguing for the same thing. Have diversity. They want diversity, and I want diversity. But here's the problem: they're not sincere about it. They're not very sincere. You realize if you want to have diversity, oh gee, I don't know. You have to include Caucasians too in that. They have to be included for diversity as well, because diversity. They're not. They just want to take stabs at Disney on Star Wars. Like I said before, whatever.
Black Panther didn't feel forced either, you know.
Say that again?
And I think Black Panther didn't feel forced, and I think that's another reason why people took to it the way they did. It just felt like a natural comic book movie that happened to have a majority of black people.
Also, there had been rumblings that there's going to be a Black Panther movie for years.
Yeah.
Like even before the MCU. My fear with Phase 4 is that it's a bunch of characters that not a lot of people know anything about.
Shang-Chi.
Like,
I don't want to hear all this stupid bullshit anymore. If I'm be honest with you, folks, I want to move on. This will be the last part. And I mean, usually, yes, I've done multiple parts when it comes to these before, but I'm getting tired of this. If we'll be honest with you, folks, they clearly don't know what they're talking about. They have no idea what they're talking about. They have not done the proper research whatsoever. And when it comes to comic book movies, like I said before, for the most part, I don't care for superhero comic book movies. I watch them, of course, but they're not my favorite genre by any means. I'm going to be upfront with you. But I'll just watch whatever they're going to, make, really.
the Eternals and whatnot, and like you have Black Panther being the success that it is because it's a very beloved character that is more well known, not as well known as the other ones, but more well known. And now it's just I don't know what's going to happen with Phase 4, if it's going to be as successful. I'm sure it's going to be successful, but is it going to be as successful as what came before it?
All right, we have a question in the back. Speak loud.
So, okay, I take it we're still on the Marvel bit. I thought we were supposed to be talking about Star Wars. But with the Phase 4, I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure it'll be fine. Because a lot of these movies are well marketed, when you think about it. And it's Marvel and Disney. I'm not worried about it at all. That's not me trying to be condescending or anything. I believe it'll be fine. It'll be fine. You have nothing to worry about.
No, I'm saying I don't know.
But no one knew Guardians of the Galaxy, who those characters were. And
Yeah, and who followed up Iron Man? Thor. Even I didn't read.
All right, and that's the end of that, folks. They can go fuck themselves for all I care. I know I said a swear word, but I'm gonna age restrict these videos anyway. And but just what a bunch of shit this was. So I do appreciate anybody for actually watching these videos straight through. I do appreciate it. And again, like I said, you don't have to be part of the woke culture, the social justice warriors, or feminazis to support, women's rights or the rights of minorities or whatnot. And yes, that is possible, of course. This was like a whole lot of nothing. At the end of the day, this was a whole lot of nothing, just rambling on and on about nothing. It's nothing. It conveyed nothing. It's hollow. This entire thing is hollow. You win nothing. You gained nothing. Oh boy. Just I mean, I guess it gives me an excuse to talk about Star Wars, I guess. And yes, by the way, folks, Disney will do more Star Wars films eventually. At least I hope so. Anyway, I know they're going to do more Star Wars TV shows. That's for sure. They're going to do more Star Wars TV shows. That's for sure. That I do know. They're going to do more Star Wars TV shows. And when it comes to TV shows, I know I mentioned it before, but again, I'm going to do my best not to be repetitive here. And that's what they're doing. They're being repetitive. So I'm going to do it on my end not to be too repetitive. I'm not really a TV show watching person. I'm more of a movie watching person, really. I prefer to watch movies. Yes, even if the show is good. Yes, even if it's good. So don't be thinking it's about the quality of it. Okay, maybe partly it is because of that. In some respects, I guess. But even if it's good, I still prefer to watch the movies. If I'm gonna be honest here, even if it's part of an expanded universe that's already been existing in movie form for a little while. I don't know, maybe it's just me, I guess. Okay, now I'm rambling on here. But I guess there's not much else to say really. Well, a lot of what has been said has already been said. A lot of the counterpoints, they really don't have a point at the end of the day. Come to think of it, honestly. But all right, folks. I think this is the final point. At least with this subject matter, with these people, I'm not. No more. No more. That's it. That's it. That's it. I'm done. I'm done. As always, thanks for watching and take care. See ya.